welcome back. We are going to make, they're going to be called Micahols. I'm trying to see if it's going to act, like a mica powder when you do it in enough alcohol, to make like a mica powder. When you put it in resin, I know it's going to, but I'm thinking if we add even a drop of like an alcohol ink to it, maybe that would stop it from acting more like a mica, Now, I'm not sure of the ratio from mica to alcohol. This is an experiment, you know. Um, Depending on how well you want it pigmented, how less you want it pigmented, I guess that would determine on how much you put in, how much alcohol you use, how much pigment you use, that sort of thing. But nonetheless, I just want to see, how well it's gonna work. And we're gonna pour in this. We're gonna use these today because I want to see just how well they are going to work. Because of course, if I'm going to experiment and make it, I want to know it's going to work. So, now I'm just using 91% alcohol. I don't know if you can use 50%. I know I wasn't going to use 99 because I felt like that would be, see, now that right there is not very pigmented. So it depends. I think it's going to determine on how much, paste or whatever it is you're going to use, whether you're going to use, mica powders or, whatever it is you're wanting to experiment with. But however, I'm just experimenting with micas. Just to see, and like I said, you may be able to add a few drops of maybe alcohol ink to keep it from being, like a mica, how the mica swirls. I don't know. We're gonna play around with it today though and see. All right, so there's the purple. I'll set that over here. Yes, I have magnets on all my stuff because I hang mine. I've got a thing over here where I hang my I hang all of my my micas and things up. All my micas are hung up on my wall. So I've got a piece of tin, and then I've got all my micas hanging. Because, when you run out of room, you got to start going up at that point. You can't go down, you got to go up, So I've literally had to go upwards. Just make sure that you clean your sticks off every time, or you're going to get that same, you're going to have that same color in, everything. But like I said, it depends on how, on how much you want, how well you want it pigmented. And none of these micas have been opened, y'all. I've never used any of these. I've got so many micas and I've never used any of them. But I keep buying them. Because, I mean, these are just, you know, El Cheapos from Amazon. So I don't mind experimenting with these. Now, I'm not going to experiment with my eye candy or my Dianca pores or any of that. That I will not experiment with. That's a little expensive when you get to doing. So I'm gonna do. That was about 1.5. You know, like I said, it depends on how well you want it. How much you want it pigmented is how much you know are going to use in your side of it. And like I said, I'm just using 91% alcohol. Nothing fancy, no expensive alcohol. And then I'm just kind of mixing it around a little bit. And I'm probably going to pour more alcohol in there than that. And I don't know, you may be able to use 91 and 50 at the same time, you know, to save on, you know, your 91% alcohol. But this is what I had readily available at this precise second besides 99. And I didn't. I didn't want to use 99 because that is more expensive mica. I mean, alcohol than, you know, 91. I mean, nothing's cheap anymore, guys, but I sure don't want to, you know, waste my 99, because if y'all bought 99, you know how expensive it is. Okay. Now I'm just going to add a little bit more to this to rinse it. I would use a paper cut, but it seems to stick more to paper than it does to, and you could probably fill it all the way up with alcohol if that's what you wanted to do, but I'm not going to do it until I know how well it works. And then I'm going to shake it up real good. And like I said, we're going to use these here in a minute. Now, how did that get all over my hand? That better not be leaking out of this bottle. And it is. These are supposed to be leak proof. And kid proof. And if they're not, I will be sending them back because they are definitely not leak proof. I can tell you that. Oh, well, duh. That's my fault. Because I didn't put the thing in there. Why didn't y'all remind me? Y'all are slacking. You didn't remind me that I needed to put the cap in there. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, well. It'll be all right. So maybe they probably are. Maybe leak proof. We're going to see. That was my fault because I didn't put the little cap in it. I forgot. And y'all didn't remind me. Y'all were supposed to remind me of stuff like that. Okay. Now that was the blue. Now this is the sky blue. That was the universal blue, and this is a sky blue, so this is a little different color blue here. I probably ought to pause you guys and get all these opened up instead of sitting here doing all this on camera, so we don't make this video super long. Now this one looks like it's got a little sparkle to it. So there's one. Oh yeah, it does. That's going to be a pretty color though. I'm going to do 2 drops of this. I mean, not 2 drops, but 2 scoops. Because these colors that I'm doing right here, I've got a project that we're going to be doing here in just a few minutes with these. That's why I'm trying to see if they're going to actually work, because I want to know, you know, how well they're going to work. Because I do have a project that I'm going to do with these. Oops. So we are going to find out here in just a little bit how well they hold up. I would say we could probably put glue in it, but on the other hand, I don't think that would be such a good idea, because then they wouldn't, you know, they wouldn't flow as much as what we're wanting them to. So I think this is going to be, and I don't know, maybe I need to do one with 91 and one with 50 and see what, you know, what the difference in the two alcohols might be. I mean, even though I did use a lot more alcohol in this one because of it being more shimmery. So to get it, you know, to get it mixed up real good and cleaned out, you definitely need a lot more than, I just hope I didn't go over. And I think I did. Yep. Okay, so I made a little too much, but that'll be all right. I have to pour some of that out though, and making a mess while I'm doing it. Well, my table's going to be all pretty and sparkly, that's for sure. And all this is going to do is evaporate, and then it's just going to be powder again. So I'm just going to set this over here somewhere. And when I use this, I will put that back. I guess I need to be writing the names on these, don't I? Duh. What in the world am I thinking? All right, so this one was sky blue, right? Isn't that what I said? Yep. So this one's sky blue. And of course, I'm going to have to put tape or something, because it's not going to stay on that plastic bottle. We already know that. And then this is a universal. It's not easy writing on these little bitty bottles, though. And then I believe this one was dark purple. Yep. What made me think of this? Well, I had already thought of this actually prior to, but I was watching a channel, and it's I can't think of her channel name to save my life. I watch her all the time. It's her well, I don't even want to say because I can't even think of her darn channel name. Pour something. I don't know. I'll have to look it up, but before I say anything, because I don't want to say nothing, and I mean, not know her channel name, but she made some with. Now, I don't know. She said she was trying out her new inks that she made with her ink printer, and I don't know if she meant that she was using inkjet um printer ink, or if she's actually got some kind of printer thing that actually makes inks. But I've never heard of any kind of printer doing ink before. But I mean, if that's not what she's using, I got to thinking that's pretty darn genius to think about using um you know printer ink, especially if you have like an EcoJet printer, where you have the individual bottles. So I got to thinking about that, and I thought, okay, well, that wouldn't be, that's not too bad of an idea. Because, the blue that comes, I don't know if any of y'all have one, but the blue that comes in the inkjet printer in the eco tank, oh my god, it's gorgeous, guys. I mean, it is so pretty. And so I was thinking, that's pretty, I mean, I never thought to make, you know, alcohol inks from an inkjet printer ink before, but or even maybe like my DTF printer that I have, I could do maybe inks from that. I, I don't know. I mean, this is just me thinking, but it might be worth, you know, exploring. But I mean, if she's using the ones that come from a printer, I don't want to take away, from her side of what she discovered, you know. But that blue that she was using was gorgeous. And I mean, it was gorgeous. But if that's what she's doing, she may be on to something in this resin community about us making our own inks and things, because that's, I mean, the printer ink I would have never in a million years thought of. Never. This just popped in my head because, you know, I'm like, well, we dilute, we dilute our mica powders in alcohol. So why couldn't we make alcohol inks from this? You know, I mean, I don't understand why not. Okay, I'm gonna mix up a few more colors. I want that peacock green. Okay, we already did sky blue. Well, that was in a different color, so I'm still going to keep those over here. We got a peach, we got a mauve, sapphire blue, pure blue. We did a purple already. There's an apricot. So we'll do these two greens, this yellow, and maybe this apricot. So we'll do these four colors. These colors here is what I'm going to use for what project I'm going to do here in just a second. I don't know though, that mauve is kind of pretty too. It's more like it's almost like a wine red, and that looks almost like turquoise to me. You know, we'll go ahead and do this peach. So we'll do a peach, that apricot. So we'll stick with these colors right here. All right, let me wipe out my cup here. And like I said, I may have to, you know, stick a drop of you know, alcohol ink or something in it to take away that, you know, that shimmer maybe. But, you know, we'll just have to play around with it and see what, you know, what all has to be done. And I don't know, I mean, you know, we can always tweak it. I was just curious to see if it's, you know, if it works. Oh, that is a gorgeous color, and it is shimmery. So I'm only going to do one scoop because I really like that color, and I don't really want to waste a lot of my colors if I can help it, just in case this doesn't work. And I don't know, I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't, you know, really, to be honest, but who knows? I mean, there's all kinds of sides to why it wouldn't work. That really is a pretty color, though. And shimmery. Look at that shimmer. Okay. But I mean, if these turn out, though, and we can use them, that's, I keep thinking, what a game changer. Because then we can, you know, we can mix our own inks, our own colors. You know, if you got the micas, you can mix any color you want, you know, and not have to wait for them to come in. And So I thought that would be kind of beneficial. Now, granted, they are dropping and sinking to the bottom, but once you shake them up, I mean, they're good to go. Okay, and this was peach. It looks more like a pink to me than a peach. And it was more of a sparkle than anything. Okay. Alright, let me wipe my... I mean, I have enough of these cups. I don't know why I'm worried about wiping them out. I guess for the environment, I suppose. And my hands are staticky. Okay. Pretty sure these, now I know this one's a sparkle, because I can see it in there. And that's another thing, these sparkle ones are like super, super pretty, you know. So if you want like a sparkle alcohol ink, then you got it. If it works with just using your micas, you know, you get that little hint of sparkle in there along with your alcohol, not to mention that it also is going to help pop bubbles. On top of that, I just thought this would be kind of an interesting video, you know, since I didn't get to put one out Wednesday. I thought, well, maybe if I can get this one done, I can get one out Saturday, and then maybe Sunday as well. I mean, I don't want my lips all sparkly, but hopefully. And I really thought that this little spigot on this thing would work better, but I guess I need to put it in I think I need to put it in a bottle. That's why I didn't put it in anything, because I thought, well, it'll work better with it just being in its own container. But it doesn't seem like it's working as well, in my opinion. That's going to be gorgeous. Ooh, I'm so excited. Put a green cap on it, even though it's not really green. It's a peacock green. I'm trying to write on little bitty bottles. And if I would have known which colors I was going to use, I would have gotten my little label printer and printed the names out and then just taped them to the bottle. And that's probably still what I'll do eventually, but I'm just doing this here for the sake of the video. And then maybe y'all can, I'm not going to use that one again because it's kind of green. So now maybe, I get this video out, then y'all can go and experiment and maybe make you some Micahols. I mean, especially, now since everything has gone up, tariffs are crazy, and, can't, that's like, one of my viewers was telling me, because she don't live here in the United States, that eye candy costs her $25.99 for one of the bottles of eye candy. And I'm like, what? You're kidding, right? No, she really wasn't kidding. And that's not even counting shipping costs from the United States to her because of the tariffs. And I'm like, holy Jesus, no way. So, people that live in other countries and things like that, they're having to miss out because the prices are so expensive. So if they can buy what they can afford, from wherever they can afford it, and then y'all want micas, alcohol ink, and you like the color, then if this works, then there you go. I mean, I know we all like different stuff, we like buying new stuff and all that, but the way the world is right now, it's like, I know I don't even like really spending money anymore, because the way everything is, you just don't know what's happening, what's going on. So, and then that's just like trying to buy from overseas. I don't buy from overseas unless it's free shipping, because the shipping alone you know will eat your lunch, because it's just the tariffs, and it's just so costly. So I either make sure that I can get it free shipping, or um I have to buy here from the United States. Okay, that's lemon. So I mean, it's just not, the people in the United States that's suffering from all this. It's everybody, and it's just crazy to me. But you know, we don't, unfortunately, we don't run the country. But okay, got 2 more to go, guys. 2 more. Now we're gonna do this apricot. Oh wow, this one's already been opened. Looky there. Okay, I must have liked it because I've already opened it. I'm not gonna mix up a whole lot of it though. Just because I already have that peach. that's mixed up. And I don't want them to wind up both being almost identical. And they almost do look almost identical. And you can also darken these up or however you want to do it. All you got to do is add a little touch of black to it, and you can darken it. You can lighten it by not putting as much mica in it. There's many different ways to lighten and darken. So if you want it lighter, just don't put as much. If you want it more transparent, just don't put as much mica. Use, probably a little bit more alcohol. Um, and then of course, um, if you want it, darker, you can always add um, more mica. And I'm sure you don't have to use the 99 or the 91%. You could probably use the 50% and get away with it. Like I said, this is just, what I was. Oh, I was supposed to make some of that one too to go in my project. Okay, so I have to mix up some of that plum because I need that for my project as well. And like I said, we're going to see how this works. And like I said, I may have to add, some mica to it to take away some of the shimmer. Because, my mica powders are automatically shimmery. And they do, when you're doing a project, they pull different than an alcohol ink. So in order to keep it, the way you need it, you if you don't want it to pull, you may have to add, either a pigment paste or um a an alcohol ink, um maybe a pigment, something just to take that shimmer away. Now, granted, these are not going to act just like an alcohol ink would. You put alcohol ink in, your resin, it doesn't shimmer, these are still going to act. I would think that they're still going to act kind of like a mica powder would. It's just more diluted, and you can drop it instead of having to pour it. So, but I would still think that it's going to act just like a mica. So just kind of, but we're going to see. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but we're going to definitely see, how it's going to do. We're experimenting. Y'all are experimenting with me. We're in real time here, guys. Real time. I really do like that green. That green is kind of pretty. But yeah, I never did think about that just now. I just answered my own question. Duh. That instead of having to pour it, we get to drop it. So that's a plus right there. Because, a lot of times we don't like just having to pour you know, our micas in a mold. So there you go. I think I just answered my own question and potentially anybody else that had that question. I mean, I'm very interested in to see how it's gonna, you know, how it's gonna turn out and the effect that it's gonna give. And we are soon fixing to find out. Just as soon as I get this one done and I get my table cleaned off, and then I'm gonna get some resin mixed up and all that good jazz, and we're gonna pour, baby, pour. Now I want this one here. Ooh, that's pretty. I mean, this is Let's Resin, so I do want this kind of pigmented. I don't know that if you, I really don't know the more you add if it's going to pigment it anymore. I'm not really sure, but you know, we're gonna, like I said, we're all in this together. We're all learning here. We're all experimenting with Micahols here. Okay, that's plum. Hope I didn't just add too much to that. That plum is a deep, deep, very pretty. Almost red. You know, or burgundy, maroon, however, whatever. And I'm just going to drop just a tad in here because I'm almost over my limit here in my little cup. But I want to get all that out of there if I potentially can. I'm not wasting any of this color, that's for sure. So I'm just using regular setting epoxy, Let's Resin brand. I've got other inks out just in case. I mean, I want a little movement, and I know the micas are gonna move, but I don't want a whole lot of movement because you know this isn't fast set. This is regular setting epoxy, so it's gonna move quite a bit before it starts curing. So depends on how much these mica inks are going to move. I've got the ultramarine by Holbein. It's acrylic ink. I've got this one by Deller Ronnie, so it's FW, and this is a cyan. My purple, I have the Dioxazine Violet, and then I have the this is just called a Purple Lake with the two purples that I made up. That's my pink, and then I have this Luminous Opera by Holbein. that I may use, and I may put some of this glow in it. I'm not sure yet about quite sure about the glow. And I don't know if I'm going to have to use any of these acrylic inks. It just depends on how well these Micahols are going to play. I mean, I don't want it all running together. So I may have to kind of mix it up to where they're not all, combining. Because of course you don't want it all pulling together. And that's what micas do. Resin works from the outside inwards. So if you use nothing but micas, of course, it's going to all pull into the center. I'm hoping you're still going to get that look that I'm going for with these colors, but I don't know. I'm going for a galaxy look. Oh, and I have the Jungan Silver by Eye Candy that I'm going to kind of mix up in there just a little bit to give it, a little bit of that silver just for the stars, basically, is what that's going to be for. So each one of these is going to get 3 ounces, or just shy of 3 ounces. So there's 12 ounces, and I need 3 ounces in each one. I am going to spritz them just a little bit. And I'm going 3 ounces in each one. Yeah, so these molds are probably not even 3 ounces a piece. And then on these kind of molds, you want to definitely go around the edges and kind of work your bubbles out if you have any, because they like to get in those grooves. Like right here, looks like I got a few. But see how they are in the grooves of that. So they love to hang out around your edges of these. So you definitely want to go around and pull them out as much as possible. I'm hoping I still took enough out. And you may have to keep shaking these as you go along, because, they are micas. So they're gonna act differently than what, anything else would. So you may have to keep shaking, as you go. And I'll keep, dropping different as I go. And these look like they're going to be a little transparent. So this is where you got to kind of play around with your micas to know, if they're transparent, if they're going to be, are they going to be pigmented enough, and all that. And, you know, these may take way more also than, you know, a regular pigment, than a regular alcohol ink would. I'll draw purple in there. So that's what I'm saying. I may have to go with, because these look like they're going to be very, very, very pale. Not really what I'm going for. I mean, they do work. I am going to use some of this pink for this. Just because I like that pink. And then I'm going to stir this up. I may even drop in kind of marble that a little bit. And then I'm going to pour it in there. I mean, granted, I know this is not enough to fill this mold up, but that is kind of pretty though. I may add some of that hot pink and kind of swirl it around. Now these inks here drop a lot better, I think. I've got a little bit of silver. I'm not going to put much of this because, I mean, this stuff will take over in a heartbeat. Well, it's not moving quite to my liking, so I'm just going to go in and I'm going to swirl like this, because those acrylics, they look like they fell to the bottom. Now, granted, this is the back, so you know what you see on the back is not what you're going to see on the front. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to mix these up a little bit before I even start swirling, just to get them off the bottom, because of course they are all on the bottom. The alcohol inks, I mean the acrylics are heavier, so they're gonna, of course, they're gonna fall to the bottom. So just kind of go in there and zhuzh them around a little bit and get them off the bottom of your mold, and then kind of go in, and then you can swirl it, and it'll be fun. And I really like the way that looks. With me putting that purple acrylic ink in there. And that's the way I should have done it. The way I did this heart, that's the way I should have done these. And I think I would have had a totally, totally different outcome. I do have some glitter here, and I've never used this stuff, but maybe something just to give it a little I'm pretty sure more than what I just added, so it's just the thing's not opened because I've, like I said, I've never used this glitter, and I don't want this to overtake, you know, the the coaster. I just wanted to give it a little, just a little chance to kind of glow a little bit. And I'm going to have to keep sitting here fiddling with it because I think that those inks are going to continue to drop. Because I can still see that pink swirling through. Every now and then I can get that, I get that pink. I pick that pink up. And out here by the sides. You see how it's starting to move? It's like blooming from the outside inward. And that's what it's going to do. So it's going to be interesting to see what how it's going to turn out with those other inks being in there, you know. But they're definitely blooming for sure. It's just going to be interesting to see how it is all going to come together. Okay, my lovelies, we are back. Time to demold these. Now, I know it doesn't look like I've put a top coat on here, but I did. What I did was I used a little bit of black alcohol ink and I put in some of this. Sorry if y'all hear something in my mouth. Getting a cold, so I've got a cough drop. Alright, let's get to this because I'm curious to see what these look like. I'm not holding out hope for them. I can tell you that. I'm kind of hoping they turn out really good. I don't have any really good pigmented alcohol inks, but the main thing was the Micahols. That was the main point of the video. Oh wow, I got big gashes out of my mold. What in the world? Oh yeah, wow. Okay, well that's definitely gonna have to be sanded and a top coat. I didn't realize those were that bad. Now it doesn't really look bad as far as the colors. I mean, there's not much pink in it, but it doesn't look bad. Okay, I'm not getting it from any of this. Yeah, I am too. Okay, so the ink, which is the Holbein that I used, these, we know these have to be mixed up in resin. They can't be just dumped because then you get this. Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, it's not that it's not cured because the resin's cured. It's the actual ink that made a pocket in there. I don't really have any good, really pigmented alcohol inks. But nonetheless, I do have some. And I really hope that that didn't like damage my molds, because I see all the marks. You can see it there. There, where the ink sit on the mold. Which, I mean, is not a big deal. I mean, you can always top coat it. I don't know. I'm probably going to have to sand them down real good. Way past all these scratches. And see, you know, if the resin is cured or not. Because I don't want to use them or even try to sell them, you know, with uncured resin. I'm not going to do. And I feel like that it may be uncured just because if that didn't cure, and I can see how soft it is, yeah, I will let that sit for several days, see if it hardens up. If it does, then I can go in and I can sand all these down, and then, you know, we'll go from there. This was mainly a Micahol experiment. Was testing, doing the mica powders with the alcohol, testing them to see if they worked. Did they work? Yes, like a dream. So, you are now not limited to what color you can use anymore. You can drop these in just like an alcohol ink, and they're going to spread just like an alcohol ink would. Now, when you watch the video, you'll see you're still going to get the little bit of shimmer, which I was fine with. All right, guys. So that is that for the Micahol experiment. They worked. They worked beautifully. So, until next time, my beautiful people, I will see y'all in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that fun, great stuff. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.